see that far anymore. Slide you down one more. So that's good. Does that work?
Yeah, they'll come up to the mic.
Oh, you want them one by one to come to the microphone?
Yeah, mid-seat.
And you know what, if you don't mind, since we all don't know each other, whoever's going to speak, if you don't mind stepping to the mic, it'll sound better for everybody. And also just say your name and spell it, since we don't know everybody's name. Is that all right?
Are we able to all stand up with each other?
Yeah, if the four family members want to be together at the mic, that's fine, or three.
Just so you guys know, you need to speak up.
He cannot hear. He cannot hear.
Will you say your name and spell it into the microphone?
Right now?
Yes.
Chris Tetrick, K-R-I-S, last name T-E-T-R-I-C-K.
Fallon Tetrick, F-A-L-O-N-T-E-T-R-I-C-K.
Regan Tetrick, R-E-G-A-N-T-E-T-R-I-C-K.
I'm Eden Tetrick, E-D-E-N-T-E-T-R-I-C-K.
Would one of you just like to, we'll let you take it, what would you like to say to the community? We'll start there if you don't mind.
Just that my dad was the most selfless person anyone could ever know, and these guys here have been unbelievably supportive towards us. They lost a brother, and we lost a dad.
When you say selfless, I know it's off the top of your head here, but give us an example of that. What stands out about his selflessness to you guys?
Every single day. I mean, he was constantly putting others above himself. There was not a day where he put himself first. That was what he taught us. Every single day when he picked us up from school, he asked us before we got out of the car, he said, "Who do you live for?" We replied, "God then others."
Can you talk a little bit about what it was like growing up with your dad as a firefighter?
My dad worked 4 jobs, actually, not just on the fire department. He was at a machine shop on 3rd shift, so he usually worked like 130 hours out of 152 hours a week. We saw him like 2 or 3 times a week. You can ask any of these guys here. They gave him a call. He was on the road. I'm sure each of them have a million stories. This is our family. We grew up here. We came here for birthdays and Christmases and everything. So this is where he was at. This is our family too. So, yeah.
What would you like your dad's legacy to be?
I think my dad's legacy speaks for itself. I don't really have any comment on that. How he lived his life is his legacy, and then what everyone else has to say, I think, speaks to that.
What has the fire community meant and been like for you?
Oh my goodness. I can't even, we can't even put into words. Like, he really set us up. He took care of us. He made sure that we had them, and they have us now. So we're very, very thankful. We have 800 dads now, so yeah.
Firefighting is such a dangerous job, just like police work and a lot of other professions, but firefighting is a dangerous job.
Yes, sir.
Did he ever talk to you about the possibility that this day might come, or did you ever talk to him about the possibility this day might come?
I think we've all had conversations, yes.
I did.
We definitely did. Actually, 48 hours before he passed, my last phone call with him, I asked him why he was still on the job at 51, and he said he wanted all of us to have health insurance through college, so that's why he was still working. and that my grandpa had talked to him the day before and said that he was tempting fate. So.
How long ago was it we had that last
I
conversation?
begged him to retire because it was such a dangerous occupation. He was such a good man. He not only talked the talk, he walked the walk. He was good from morning till night. He was everybody's friend. He was stooped to help anyone. I cannot say enough good things about my son that my deceased wife and I raised. He's been a blessing to all of us. All of us.
That conversation happened on the Thursday night when I was at the hospital at my school in Cincinnati. He was bored, so he called me in the car.
Was this something that he wanted to do as a child, something that he wanted to do growing up?
Yes, he watched my grandpa go out and do this every day, and he tried the college route, and gave it a college try, was not it. So he had talked about it. All of his cousins and stuff told us since he was little he always wanted to be like his dad.
Now, yesterday when the chief, when we spoke to the chief, he mentioned that your dad would always leave people happier after a conversation, and that he had a little bit of an infamous smirk. I don't know if you
My
want
dad's
to add anything about that.
My dad's smile was definitely one of a kind. You could not be sad with that smile or his laugh. His laugh is so unique and amazing, and he was just such a happy person. Like, he really loved God, and you could tell that he is not from this world. Like, he really, really loved God, and I think that's why he was such a unique person. So I think that has a big influence on who he was and the way he was able to affect people.
You talk about that little smirk he had. I'm sure every guy in this room can just picture it in their head.
When we went to say goodbye at the hospital, he was smirking.
What does it say about your dad that stayed for 23 years at this firehouse, one of the busiest firehouses in the city? He could have gone to, I call it a semi-retirement firehouse.
Right.
And he chose not to help, this neighborhood. What does it say about your dad?
I asked him that question one time, and he said, "Dad, guys move all the time. Like, why don't you go where the boat is or something?" Like, and he said that he wanted to make a difference, that he grew up with these guys, that he was here with these guys, that this was his family. So the other thing that he said about that was that if anything ever happened to him, he wanted them to be with us. So.
And my dad, 25 years he stayed here, because I think a big part of that is he's fiercely loyal. When he finds a person or something that he really likes, he's all in with everything. And I think being here for him was right. He was not a person who could not do something. He was always active, always doing something. At home, he would not relax. He had to be working on something.
Cooking,
Cooking, building things. So.
We made jokes that it was 22, that he wanted to just stay at 22, but it wasn't the number, it was these guys.
Eden's first phrase here was "double deuce, baby," when she was a baby. So
The difficult moment is probably going to come at some point when this suspect that they arrested is going to go to court. You might have a chance to say something to him, or at least be there, watch it. Any idea at this point what you guys will say to him?
Yeah, we're not upset. We hope that he knows that, and my dad would not have been upset. He would not want us to be bitter or have any hatred towards him. People make mistakes. He'll get...
Heart of gold.
Yeah.
And not by that, we don't mean that he should by any means be free or walk around, because we would not want this to happen to any other family. This is extremely difficult and heartbreaking. My dad was everything to all three of us. We talked all the time, told him everything. He was our support system 100%. but just because we don't want him to be free does not mean that we're angry with him by any means. He is a human being. He still has the value of being a human being, and just because he did a bad thing does not mean that we hate him or that we think he should be guilty, feel guilty or horrible for the rest of his life or anything like that. He's still a human being, and he still deserves respect just like everyone does. So
Is that an outgrowth of your faith?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it was a tremendous loss. This community lost someone who would save countless lives. These guys lost a brother. My grandpa lost a son. We lost a dad. But my dad would want us to forgive because we were once forgiven by God.
For times like these, I lost my parent now in the same scenario. You hear stories about your parent. Is there a story that you didn't know about your dad? That
Many. So
that
many.
you're hearing?
In relation to what, one more time?
Just any stories that you did not know about your dad that
Oh, that we've heard. My favorite that I've heard is when he was here. No, I hope he can't get in trouble now. So he would set firecrackers off, and the guys would go to the bathroom in the back. And the one time it got in someone's toilet, and they had to go to the hospital. That was my favorite one. Yeah.
There's so many. I mean, I've heard countless, and I think that's a better question for these guys behind you, the stories.
There is a few. There was some homeless people that would come here that I know that he would feed, and some of these guys here, or they had kids come in here, they would give them food, blow up their tires. Like they were just here for everybody. It wasn't just people in need. It was anybody that walked up to this place. So.
Thank you. Sorry for it.
Thank you.
What now?
While we're in this format, you want to have a group of firefighters talk as well?
Sure.
Does that work? Yes, please. If you guys want, you can stay out here, you can go back to the kitchen, whatever you want. I'm going to take a break. Great job. Nice job.
I just have a quick comment. My name's Robert Schwind, SCHWIND. You know, Johnny was a helper and a servant, and he did that 7 days a week and 365 days a year. And just the fact that he got paid to do it a couple of days a week, or 2 or 3 days a week, wouldn't have changed him. That was just a bonus for him. He would have been the same personality and the same servant, whether he was getting paid or not. That was just in him.
So what, is there any of you that have a, kind of like what Marty asked, a story that the public would want to know about it, that's not necessarily about knocking down the flames at the vacant building or whatever, but is what stands out about maybe on a slow day when nothing was going on about him?
He was a great cook. His mom, he was a great cook. His mom, Sue, taught him many Korean dishes, and it's not often you get a good Korean dish at a firehouse, but he could whip up a great dish.
Did he help raise the level of professionalism in helping the community?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
In this firehouse?
Yeah, he was. I was lucky enough to be a supervisor for the last 6 or 7 years, and I had the easiest job in the fire department because the kid never did anything wrong. It was so easy to be, he supervised me as much or more than I could supervise him. But yeah, he was a very, very solid guy.
What would you share with the younger people in the fire department about him? Maybe about his legacy, what he meant to you guys?
I mean, I guess it's hard to experience Johnny without actually working with him, but just know that he did everything the right way. He, from the littlest things to keeping maintenance on the fire truck, to keeping his own Con Ed and up, and just making sure he was ready to answer the call whenever the red phone rang.
Having a veteran like that on the force, I mean, what does it mean for you guys?
I mean, it makes our job easy. As supervisors, it makes the other senior men look at him and they realize that that's what they need to do to be good examples to the junior men, and the junior men, of course, look up to him too.
I'm Tim Todden, T-O-D-T-E-N. I'm the current captain here. I've only been here 6 months or so. However, as the captain, having a guy like Johnny in the house is probably one of the easier things, as Bob said, that makes my job easy. As an example to the junior guys, he was incredible. The guys in this station and on this job everywhere are better because of guys like Johnny. And when I first got here a few months ago, the fact that Johnny welcomed me with open arms told me that I was a good fireman and a good officer and a good leader because he wanted me here. And it's a tremendous loss to the station, the division, family, the world.
Is there anyone who wants to talk about what you'd like to see from the community this Saturday? I know the chief was talking about wanting to fill the arena. I think a lot of people don't know what to expect with a firefighter.
I think he deserves a full arena. I think anybody who is available to come out and pay their respects to a great man and a great fireman should do so.
Do you want to say something, Ryan?
I'm Ray Wacker, W-A-C-K-E-R. I've had the privilege of working here with Johnny for the last 6 years. Bob was our boss. And like everybody said, his smile every day coming into work was infectious. When you left, you wanted to be the best that you had to give. He made you want to be the best that you could be. One of our chiefs was Battalion 6, Chief Zabo. He made a good point the other day in our debriefing, and he said that his father told him that the most valuable thing you can give in life is your time, because they're not making any more of it. And when I heard that, I thought, that's Johnny right there, because he would give his time for anybody, and he did give his time for anybody. I feel just so lucky to have worked with him and learned from him. The surrounding stations could tell you that if it was on the B shift and Johnny was driving and we got a box, you better be moving, because he's going to get there. We had a little competition between the stations because, it's just a little friendly thing. We all want to get there first, and if someone needs to be saved, we want to be the ones that do it. We're not wishing somebody's house to catch on fire, but if it did, we wanted to be there to help them. And Johnny's reputation speaks for itself. Thank you.
Anybody else? So if you guys need something else?
No.
My name is Dan Zudic, Z-U-D-I-C.
This is Johnny's favorite cadet, by the way.
When I was told I was going to be assigned here, I didn't know what to think. You walk in the door, there's a bunch of strangers. You don't know what to expect. As a new guy, not to the fire service, but to the Cleveland Fire Department. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of older senior guys. And when you came in the morning, you checked the schedule, and you saw that Johnny Tetrick was on the schedule, you know it was going to be a good day. He never treated anybody like a new guy. He always welcomed everybody with open arms. If you had any questions, he was happy to answer. But that helped make you a better person because you didn't want to let Johnny down. He was a rock on this crew. He really helped keep everyone together. And as these guys said, I'm a better person for working with Johnny Tetrick.
My name's Joe. My name's Joe Jarabek, Jarapek. I also worked on this shift, on the B shift. I was here a long time ago when there was actually a squad here and they closed it down, and I was forced to leave this station, but I was on Johnny's shift when he was on Engine 22 and I was on Squad 3. And it was a sad day when I had to leave this station. I was low in seniority, so I kind of got bounced around to a couple different stations where they just send you and you went and worked. I had the opportunity to come back here and work at 22. I was very happy. I was extremely happy to be on the shift with Johnny because I knew him from before. He's a very good firefighter. And this whole crew I worked with was great. Bob being my boss. You know, I'm just going to miss him dearly. You know, I'll leave it at that, okay?
Anybody else? This is a great job. You guys need some, you guys have any follow-up questions for any individual firefighters?
I do want to mention one thing. We're getting through this, and amazing as it sounds, because of the girls, they're showing how strong they are. When Regan asked me yesterday how I was doing, I just thought, that's Johnny coming out in her. Be concerned about somebody else when she had such a great loss.
You guys need B-roll stuff?
Yeah, I think we probably have a couple of shots of the fire truck and stuff like that.
Okay.
Do you guys have any photos of him that you love out of uniform, or Okay.
If you give us your emails, we can send out.
Or you can give it to Lieutenant Mike like Norman, he can disperse them
Send
to
them
us.
out. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's a great point.
How many are you looking for?
As
Well,
many as
5 or 6
Okay.
that you don't mind,
Absolutely.
it'll be used
show
for.
his personality.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did he have a locker here?
There's
Yeah.
two, yeah.